Today we're going to begin our study of Chapter 2 in Science. And in this chapter you'll see that there are 3 sections, but I've divided Section 3 into 2 parts, A and B. So at the beginning you have the songs and music, and there are several with this chapter. So as always, I encourage you to go back and listen to those because those will help you learn the material. All right, so Chapter 2, Lesson 1, Everything is Connected. We have 3 objectives today. By the end of the lesson, you should be able to distinguish between the biotic and abiotic or abiotic, same thing, parts of the environment. Explain how populations and communities are related, and describe how abiotic parts of the environment affect ecosystems. Okay, you'll come back and watch this video. So this whole web of life, we're going to start out with a few new words. Ecology is the study of the interactions of organisms with each other and with their environment. And there are 2 parts to an environment, biotic and abiotic. So biotic, let's think about the prefix bio. Bio means life. So biology is the study of living things. So if bio means life, biotic is the living things within an environment. So all of the organisms that live together and interact with one another make up the biotic part of the environment. If it is abiotic, it's absence of life. So think of the AB, absence of life. So these would be the non-living elements that make up the environment. So biotic, living, abiotic, non-living. You need to know those 2 terms. Go back and watch the study jam on ecosystems. So at first glance, the environment to us can seem rather disorganized. However, there is order to it, and it can be arranged into different levels. So here is an example of the 5 levels of environmental organization. And you're going to come back and do this yourself on your EN page. So what you can't see, okay, now you can see it here at the bottom. We're going to start bottom and go up. So an organism, or that could also be substituted for an individual. It is one thing that is living in that environment. So here, our organism is an alligator. And no, you may not use an alligator on your EN page. Use something else, please. If we have several of those alligators, we have a population of them. Then those alligators live in a community with other things, such as turtles and birds, and you can't see them, but snakes and fish and all of the other living environments that are there, as well as non-living. All of these things make up what is called an ecosystem. So all of the living and non-living things is then in a larger ecosystem. And then you can see we have the largest of the organization, which is the biosphere, which is basically Earth. So all of your examples at the top will have biosphere, of course, but you're going to come up with your own individual, population, community, and ecosystem. So for example, if you use a polar bear, you wouldn't put a polar bear within this ecosystem. That's not where they live. So make sure when you're figuring out whatever you want your individual or organism to be, that you're going to be able to put it in its correct ecosystem, as well as be able to have a few other living things that coincide with it, that live together with it. So breaking it down one more time. The population, each animal is part of a population. So it's a group of individuals of the same species that live together. So our alligators. Moving up, the community consists of all the populations of the species that live and interact within an area. So the alligator, the birds, the turtles, the snakes. So the point here is you need to see that everything within an ecosystem is related. It is connected. If one thing depletes, then whatever depends on that to live, its population will also go down. So here we're just taking a closer look within the ecosystem that we saw in the environmental organization. So let's start with the bottom here. We have some animals eat the cordgrass, which would be this, along with the microscopic algae that grow on the surface of its leaves and stems. So you can't see everything that's there. The periwinkle snail, which is this little creature, he's one of the things that would eat the algae that grows on the cordgrass. And the periwinkle snail also uses the cordgrass as a place to hide from predators, from things that want to eat it. Here we have a little marsh crab. It eats the cordgrass as well as it eats tiny little shrimp. And here we have a seaside sparrow. They, of course, eat insects, spiders, and even small crabs. And then a male and his mate would use the cordgrass stalks to weave a nest out of. And then there are tons of other creatures that live within this ecosystem as well. We're just touching on a few of them. So this overall ecosystem is made up of a community of organisms and the abiotic environment of the community. So all of the living things and all of the non-living things. And then the biosphere is basically the part of Earth where life exists. It extends from the very deepest parts of the ocean to high up in the air where plant spores drift. Okay, don't forget to come back and watch the video, and you're going to also log into BrainPop and watch the video on ecosystems and complete that quiz as well to help you learn this material. This is the end of lesson 2.1. Next time we will pick up with lesson 2, which is living things need energy.